All right. Well, there we are. It says we're live. I'm going to believe it for a minute, and we'll see how this works out. Happy Reformation Day. Hello, Pat. Hope you guys are all doing well. If you're out there, let me know if the audio and video are working properly. Hopefully they are, and we can get on with the show. Also, if you're out there, make sure you put in comments. Where you are, where you're at. Say hi. Just be friendly. Come in and say hi, and then tell me where you're at. And then if you have questions or comments or anything you want to talk about, put them in the comments section whenever you come in. And if you're watching this in the future, you're a future person, you can actually put comments and questions down in the comment section, and I'll still read them. So it's like time travel. All right, everybody, come in and say hi. Pardon me. And let's get this thing going. Let me know if the audio and the video are working. I'm waiting for the first comment to tell me that we have audio and video, and then I'm not just sitting here talking to myself. Once I have that, then we can move on. But it takes about 2 minutes sometimes before somebody thinks to go, oh, he's talking about me. I should type in that the audio and video is working. Either that or there's a huge delay in the comments actually reaching me. So we'll see. I'm still waiting. I don't know if this thing's even working. Let me pull over here and look. Not seeing anything. Okay. So at 7:01, we're actually a minute 43 in. We hear that the audio and video is great. All right. So we're going to go ahead and do the box, and then we'll get moving. That took way too long. Way too long. All right, again, happy Reformation Day. I don't do all that other stuff, but I know that some of you might, so maybe there's not as many people here who, because of Halloween or whatever pagan ritual you happen to be engaging in with your children. So I thank you, Chuck, for telling me that the audio and video are working. If we could get that in the first 30 seconds of the show, that would be great. That would be great. Anyways, hope you guys are all doing well. Everybody pile in, push in here, and let's come in and say hi. We're going to have some things we're going to talk about. And I understand that a lot of you watch this later. You're future people. You don't watch this live. And so I'm actually doing the show for them as well. But those of you who are here, if you have questions, if you have comments, if you have topics you want to talk about, forget anything that I have planned. We can talk about anything you want to talk about. You just put a comment over in the comment section. I will see it. And then I will determine if that's something I want to talk about. And that's the way that works. All right, so we're rolling up on Election Day. I think today is Saturday, and I think that means we have like 3 more days until Election Day. Meanwhile, the tech oligarchy, oligopoly, or whatever it is, are hammering us and have been hammering us day after day, minute after minute, in every single social media, on every tech site, on every site that you engage in, about why you should vote. Get out and vote. Vote, 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 vote. All we want you to do is vote. We don't care if you know anything. We don't care if you have any knowledge or understanding of the topics or of the issues of the day. We want more people to vote. Now, today's rant is going to basically be built upon yesterday's. So if you missed yesterday's, you're not missing anything. You can still go back and watch it, but you should go back and watch it. Because I described a method called flooding the floor or flooding the room, which is a method for cheating. No matter what it is you want to cheat at, if you want to steal some art from a museum, or you want to steal money from a casino, or you want to rob money from a bank, or you want to fiddle with an election, you want to flood the room, which means you want as many distractions as possible. You want as many people in the room as possible so you can do your things and you don't get as noticed. It subdivides the attention of the people who are supposed to be watching to make sure that everything's running properly and nobody's cheating. Flooding the floor or flooding the room is a common technique in every method of cheating. All right. And so we talked yesterday about how we could analyze the 2 major political parties' positions on voting and voter fraud rolling up to the election. And we can find out just from that, as an independent, disinterested third party, an alien from outer space, or somebody, Spock, who's just watching this to see what he can learn from it, how they could learn which side is actually planning on cheating and which side is probably not. So that was yesterday's show. And if you didn't watch it, by all means, watch it. Go back and watch yesterday's show, because it's going to help you understand today's. Today's kind of built on top of that. So the idea of flooding the floor is that you want as many people as possible. You don't care if they're intelligent. You don't care if they're knowledgeable. You don't care if they have anything of value to offer. You just want masses of bodies doing a particular activity, and that activity allows you to do certain things, whether it's cheating, whether it's buying votes, whether it's stealing artwork or whatever. All right, and so here's the point. We're being told by social media and all these tech companies, these billionaire tech companies, who you would think are capitalists, right? And they're not. But you would think that they are, that everybody needs to get out and vote. And they're going to hammer you every 5 seconds. Get out and vote, get out and vote, get out and vote. Why is that? Why is that? Why is it that there are certain people who want to actually like go into other countries and smuggle immigrants into the country and immediately allow them to vote? Why are there people that want prisoners to vote, felons to vote, ignorant people to vote, uneducated people to vote, and they want everybody to vote, and they want dead people to vote, and they want people who are not allowed to vote to vote? Here's why. Because by doing so, you can eventually, and this is one of the weaknesses, the biggest weakness of democracy. If you can get enough people to vote, you can eventually overthrow democracy. Let that sink in. I hate that term, let that sink in, but I wanted to let that sink in. You can overthrow democracy using democracy. If you get enough ignorant people who don't care enough about anything other than their own selves, their own, what they're getting out of it, or their own anger, or their own hatred, to move in the same direction, you can overthrow their freedom to do anything. They will allow you to do it. Edward Bernays, in the concept of propaganda, who first kind of invented the field of public relations. Edward Bernays, look him up. Anyways, his feeling were that the masses, the mass man, were ignorant. They're stupid, and they're easily manipulated. And if you can get enough of them moving in the same direction, you can get them to do anything. And this is exactly what's been going on. This is what's happening right now to you. There is a revolution happening, and you're not even participating other than as an observer. There's a revolution by people who want to overthrow your right to have property, your right to own the product of your labor, your right to own firearms, your right to speak and to assemble, and all of these things. They've already said all of this. They've already told you exactly what they want to do. They are actually currently actively censoring content that they disagree with. Now, what happens when you tell people, let's say you have a mass of people in front of you, that you're going to control the information they're allowed to see, and you want them to vote? Think about these two things. I'm going to control what information you have by which you can make a decision, and I want you to pull a lever. This is classic Edward Bernays. It is classically moving the body politic to commit suicide, to get enough people to vote away their rights. Why in the world, though, would these tech corporations, these social media corporations, want to do this? Because it gives them all the power. Their ideology would reign. If you haven't watched things like Black Mirror, then you're going to understand. Hold on a second. Are you still a Christian? That's I'll get to that in a minute. Enjoyed your Christian content in the past. Take care. My Christian content's still out there. Yes, I'm still a Christian. You cannot stop being a Christian. If you ever stopped, then you weren't one to begin with. But if you came in here just for that, all of my Christian content is still available. You can still go get it. I've got a Christian Facebook page and all that kind of stuff. Everything that I do is Christian. I don't believe in subdividing your life into Christian and non-Christian elements. Every single thing that I do is based on my faith. All right. So then we got that out of the way. All right. Hello, Sandy. Hello, Scott. Hello, War Dogheim. Hello, Aaron. Hello, all of you. Good to see you. All right. So here's the thing. What they're doing is they're getting the mass man to move. And the mass man is, if you haven't seen all of my mass man posts on Facebook, the mass man is the general mass, which operates independently and differently than the individuals within the mass. It's like a school of fish when you see them moving, and it seems like they have one mind. This is exactly what happens with the mass man. The mass man has one mind, and that mind is easily manipulated by those in power, especially when they can control the information by which the school of fish makes their decisions. So whether it's light or a loud noise or a pandemic or something else, if they control those elements, if they can put a gray screen over my YouTube page and say some of this information may be false, some of this information, our fact checkers have said that this is a little sketchy. They know that it doesn't matter what any individual thinks about that. They know that the mass man in general will react to a warning by pulling back. If you say, don't put your hands on a hot stove, a person will generally pull their hand back. Well, the mass man will do that when you say, don't read this information, don't look at this information because it may be deleterious to your health. They'll do that to things that are true, and they'll do that thing to things that are false, but they don't care overall as long as they're the ones that are putting the screen up telling you not to watch something, because they know that the majority of the people will listen to them and do what they say. Now, when the same people are the ones who are telling you they're going to control what you can see, they're going to control what information you get, they're going to control what memes you get, they're going to control whether or not you can see a news article from a major news organization, they're going to control what the head of the Border Patrol says or is able to say on social media, they're going to control what the president can say or what you can see that they said. Then here's where we are. The same people who are trying to push the populace or the mass man into pulling a particular lever are the same people who are controlling the information that the mass man uses to determine which lever he's going to pull. This is a classic revolutionary tactic. It goes all the way back to the beginning of revolutions. If you want a revolution, you need the mass to move in a certain direction, even if you despise the mass. Even if you think they are completely incapable, if you think that they need to be ruled with an iron fist. Now, these social media companies, they want to be able to assign you a social media score, much like your credit score. Your credit score is now an irrational and probably immoral way of categorizing somebody's character as to their ability or their willingness to pay back a debt. And it's done by private corporations at the behest and with the assistance of the U.S. government. What they want to do now is they want to extend this into your social credit. Whether people are listening to you, whether people hear what you have to say, whether or not people are your friends, whether or not you can get a job, whether or not you can function, whether you can buy or sell. All of those things will be controlled by your social credit score, and your social credit score is going to be appointed to you or given to you by the same people who don't want to allow you to see certain information, and they want to control what you see and what you hear and how you vote. Once you have voted, they have no more use for you. In other words, there is a vote that is always the last one. Now, the Soviet Union, they allowed voting even after the Bolsheviks took power and the Soviet Union came into being. But those elections were fraudulent. They were absolutely nobody's vote counted. Pardon me. Allergies. Stalin said, it matters not who votes or how they vote. It matters who counts the votes. And so it was pretty much a classic element of the Soviet Union that there was every 97% of the people voted, but there was only one box that you could vote for. This is what happens. Now listen to what I'm saying very carefully. There is always one last election. There's always one. And that one last election is the one where enough people give all the power to the people who want to control what you see and what you hear, what you can do, what you can eat, how you can act, how you can dress, what words you can say. Once those people are in power, that's the end as far as elections go. They'll still have their form, they'll still have their symbolism, but they will cease having any effect over policy. Now, some people could say that this has already happened in America a long time ago, that we have a two-party system that's basically two sides of the same coin. And with that, I would agree. However, as of yet, here in Central Texas, I can have a couple of drinks and I can stumble off my front porch with a rifle and I could shoot a possum down at my creek tonight if I want to. And no one's going to say boo about it. There are things that I can still do. I can still get on here and I can inform you about how the people in power and even the people who own and control the medium through which I am communicating with you are attempting to overthrow your freedom, to overthrow your civilization. They are in the act of overthrowing your civilization and overthrowing your freedom, and that's their goal. But as of yet, I can still say that. That doesn't mean they're not going to demonetize this. They will. Or that somehow they're not going to block me. Eventually they will. But for now, I'm not going to go to prison for this, and I'm not going to be executed for this. For now, but now's not Tuesday. So who knows what's going to happen after that? My whole goal here is not to get you to vote, and my goal is not to move you in one political direction or another. It's to educate you about what's happening to you so that you prepare yourself. If you know anything about Michael Bunker and the Bunker Nation, by the way, I'll be your host for the evening. It is this. It is that I'm all about being spiritually and physically prepared for what's coming down the aisle, what's coming down the pike. And what's coming down the pike right now is a autocratic government, a techopoly, controlled by a very narrow group of people who have absolutely no respect or concern for individual sovereignty or individual property. Those people are already controlling the conversation. They're already controlling what you can see and what you can hear. And they are the ones that are wanting to create enough voters out of whole cloth, if they have to make sure that you no longer have any of the rights or freedoms that you currently enjoy. So here I am. I'm here for you. If you guys have a question or a comment or anything you want to talk about, put them in the comment section. I know that once I start my rant, everybody kind of shuts down. Nobody comments, nobody asks questions, nobody says anything. And that kind of ruins the show because we're only 19 minutes in and I pretty much said what I wanted to say. So if you have a question or a comment or something you want to talk about, put it in the comment section right now. And if you don't, then I'm going to go ahead and call it quits for the night and tell you I'm wearing my Cafe Du Monde shirt. I got this for $1.49 at the Goodwill, but I bought it because 2 years ago I went to, and I've been to New Orleans several times. I've written some books there, but 2 years ago I went to Cafe Du Monde with my friend Jay, and it was a wonderful time. And we went to New Orleans, and I went to Cafe Du Monde, and it was a tourist thing, but it was fun. And I found this shirt for $1.49. All right. Well, I'm glad you're paying attention, and I'm glad you guys are listening. And I hope you guys are preparing yourself because they're not going to give up. They're not going to quit. They're not. The elections right now really mean nothing because their intention is to do whatever it takes, spend however much money it takes, and take as much time as it takes to make sure that their dystopian Black Mirror social credit system is put into place. And we'll see that most likely in your lifetime. Most likely you're going to see it in your lifetime. And hopefully we're the kind of people who can stand in opposition to that sort of thing. All right. I don't know. My allergies have got me inflamed. I don't know how you're supposed to top that. But I always appreciate you guys. If you have questions or comments, it doesn't have to be about politics. It doesn't have to be about socialism, Marxism, autocracy, authoritarianism, or totalitarianism. It could be about anything you want to talk about. So we'll see. I have a, they call this a bodybuilder beer because it only has 95 calories and 2.6 carbs. I'm not sponsored. I wish you could watch. Well, I don't know why you can't. This drift to the mass man has been happening as long as I've been a voter. In 1980, my first time voting. What sort of entropy do you see in their initiative? Meaning, how long do you think they can maintain their utopia? Not long at all. Now, there's a difference between what we're seeing now and the Bolshevik revolution in that the Bolsheviks not only were dealing with a people who were technologically, industrially not very sophisticated, but we're in our particular system. It depends on how long they feel like they can finance the thing. In other words, as long as they can print money and they can maintain some type of equilibrium with other world governments, it could go on for a short period. But after that, the hammer will come down and we'll just see, it'll just be a totalitarian state, dystopian in all of its splendor. Chuck says, I live in the suburbs. I'm taking precautions, staging fire extinguishers, water hoses, night vision, and communications with my neighbors. Okay, good idea. Good ideas. Hope everybody's doing well and preparing themselves. I don't know what's going to happen. And if I did, I couldn't tell you because of the time cops. But I am telling you that what we're seeing, for example, today, there was somebody who had posted, and I saw a lot of political things, but somebody posted a picture, and on the top, it was a Biden rally, and there was like 6 people there. And on the bottom, there was a Trump rally, and there was, I don't know, 30,000 people there. And it was covered up with this warning that it was lacking context. And so I went and I wanted to find out what context it was lacking. So I clicked on it and it told me an AP story that said this was not really a referendum on people's preference, but it was a difference in the way that each individual candidate was dealing with COVID-19. That the reason there aren't tens of thousands of people clamoring to get into the Biden rallies or 30,000 Latin American people in vehicles, Latinos in vehicles with Trump flags, is because their policy on COVID-19 is social distancing. That's why. So the context that we're told from Facebook and Twitter is that there are actually tens of thousands of people who are clamoring to be at Biden rallies and Kamala Harris rallies, but they're not going because of their opinion about COVID. They're actually really, really, really excited. Now, I don't know if you believe that, but I personally don't believe that that's true. That doesn't mean I'm on one side or the other. That means I'm looking at data and I'm making a decision on whether I think the context that the AP added to the story changed the image that I saw, and it didn't. I was not predisposed. I actually clicked on it thinking, well, maybe there was some context here. Maybe there were 30,000 people who applied for permits to go to the Biden rally, and they were turned down because of COVID restrictions. But do we really believe that that's true? Do we really believe that there were 30,000 people trying to get into this Biden rally, but they weren't allowed because of COVID restrictions? The whole point has nothing to do with the rallies. It has nothing to do with the popularity of the candidates. It has to do with, why am I not allowed to see an image or to see a story from a major newspaper or something else like that without some intermediary 20-year-old something Black Mirror social warrior telling me what I should think about it before I see it? Why is that happening? And they absolutely believe that by doing so, they're going to create in the mass a movement that's going to have people pull a certain lever. And it may. You people that don't think that this stuff works, go read Edward Bernays. All right. Doesn't it seem like when the revolution is won that shortly thereafter the winners begin to eat themselves and self-destruct? They eat themselves, but it takes 70 years on average for them to self-destruct. So don't start thinking you're going to live through it, because you're not. If they get in power, generally, it takes 70 years for a Marxist government to burn through all of its industrial capability, to burn through its productive capability, to burn through whatever it can graft off of the nations round about, and collapse of its own weight. That's about how long it takes. And if that happens, I won't be here for the end of it. I probably won't be here very long in the middle of it. Aaron says, the argument I've been hearing pretty often is that debt is in exponential growth. Before long, we will have an alternative, likely a digital one from the powers that be. Something like that. Who knows? Who knows how that... This is not a lung-based COVID pneumonia thing. What's happened is I'm having allergies really bad, and I've been kind of snorting, and I can't just sit here the whole time and blow into a snot rag, and so that's what's causing this. Have you noticed that certain videos have mass amounts of political ads, especially compared to less self-reliant or even conservative ones? From what I've seen on YouTube, whoever it is, so like during the primaries, Bloomberg just bought everything. Every single commercial was a Bloomberg commercial, and it didn't work. And so right now, almost every commercial I see is a Biden-Harris commercial. But that doesn't mean that somebody else isn't seeing something different. I don't know why I would particularly be seeing those, but that's pretty much all I'm seeing on every commercial that comes up on YouTube for me. Yeah, and so what happens is rather than set people free to determine what information they're going to look at, what information they're going to believe, whether or not they're going to believe lies, or whether they're going to research things by the so-called adding context. One thing Twitter has done is they used to have what was called trending topics, and they didn't control who trended. So whatever was popular at the moment all around the world, or all around the United States, or all around Texas, or all around Dallas, or all around your neighborhood was what was trending in that area. They now have what they call it's controlled trending. They have a terminology they use for it. I can't think of the word right now, but they're controlling the trends. They're no longer trends. They stop being trends when you put the ones that you want to be there. They're stop being trends. They're not trends. If I sit there and say, these are the top 10 songs of the week, and then I just put the top 10 songs that I want to be the top 10, they're not the top 10 anymore. They stop being that. You understand? I can't think of the word they're using for it. Twitter has got a word for it. And they actually they told everybody, we're going to start doing this with our trends. We're going to start adding context. And we're going to start, there's a word, I can't think of the word. It's killing me. I hate it. I hate it when I can't think of the word. It's like what you would do with an art collection. There's a word for that. When you're the one that's choosing what art is going to be shown. So anyways, that's what's going on. If you got questions or comments, hello, Jesse. Hello, Modern Homestead. Hello, Aaron. I don't know if I said hello to everybody. Hope you all are doing well. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Share this video. The only way this show's ever going to grow, curated is the word, and I knew it. It was right there. It was right there. They're calling them curated trends. This is a oxymoron. They are not curated trends. They're what Twitter wants to show you and tell you that it's popular. Curated is correct. Thank you all. All right, you guys. So anyways, what limitations should be on speech? There's a thing called prior restraint. When are you limiting speech? We punish speech that causes or immediately causes death or destruction. What we don't do is restrain it prior. There's no prior restraint. There's an old saying that you can't shout fire in a crowded movie theater, and that is false. You absolutely can shout fire in a crowded movie theater. You also can be held responsible for what happens based on your shouting, right? We don't stop people from speaking. What we can do is we can hold them responsible. If somebody says, hey, everybody go do this violent thing, and somebody does it, then you can be held responsible for that. But there is no prior restraint when it comes to speech. What they are doing now is called prior restraint, which means there's somebody, and it's a 20-year-old, sitting in some seat of power, which is actually a cubicle somewhere in California, and they're saying, I don't think people should be able to see this, or if they do see it, I want them to see my own opinion about that before they see the thing they're going to see. Some 20-year-old in a rolling chair with a plastic floor carpet protector is sitting there every day looking at stuff saying, I don't like this or I like this, and I'm going to let you see it or not see it. That's what's going on. Very few of these decisions are being made at any type of upper level because they don't have to, because all of the people they hire have the same opinions. They do not hire people with different opinions. When everybody has the same opinion, the same things are going to be produced. And that's where we are today. That's what's going on. The revolution is underway. We're seeing it go on as we speak. And so what has to happen is some type of sea change in the opinions of people and the activities of people. I don't know what it is. I know that there are alternatives to Twitter and YouTube and all this, but those alternatives, you don't reach anybody. If you want to mute yourself, then that's what you do. I'm not saying don't go use those things. I'm saying if I just said, I'm not going to use YouTube, I'm not going to use Facebook, I'm not going to use Twitter, nobody's going to hear me. All of you who tell me that you love me and you tell me you love me what I say, you're not going to follow me to some website.com. You just won't. Here's one thing we've learned. If I give you one link to go to, you won't do it. Every button you have to push to get to do something, even if it's something you want, fewer people do it. If there was a magic button right now that was in your brain that said, hey, you could donate $5 to the Bunker Nation show, and enough people did that, we would be able to push this out on more platforms, and we would be able to get better equipment and better lighting and all that. Immediately, there would be enough money because y'all think it and y'all want to do it. But if I sit there and go, okay, I'm going to go over here, I'm going to click on banners, I'm going to click on the fundraiser thing, and it's going to pop up on the screen. And now you have to open up another tab, click on that, type it in, go through there, go through the process of donating. You won't do it. One person might do it. That's one thing we've learned. It just doesn't happen. If I say, hey, everybody, hit the like button. Well, if there's a like button right now in front of your face, you'll hit it. But if you have to wait till the show's over and go to YouTube and go and hit the like button, then people for the most part will not do it. If I say, hey, the only way to grow this show is we have to share it, more people have to see it. A few of you will do it, but most people will not, because if there's one more step, even if that step, if taken in compilation with other people taking that step, would completely change everything. So if it was possible for us all to do something that would overthrow this oligopoly or techopoly that's running everything and that's controlling speech, then there was one thing that we all had to do, most of you would not do it, because it's one more step and it's just too much trouble. That was a little bit of a second rant. Oh, sorry about your internet. They're probably controlling the amount of bandwidth I'm allowed. So could things like pornography or blasphemy only be punished but not unpublished? It depends on it depends on the laws of the municipality or the province. We want the government to be in the closest to the people as possible, and so I have no idea. I've certainly things that are violent, kidnapping and things like that. You can't have a video of that. But as far as that, what free people are doing that are adults that are making decisions for themselves, then I have no idea. That would be up to the particular municipality or area, I guess. I have no idea. Personally, I think if grown people are doing what they want to do, even if it's makes them hellbound, there's a whole rant here about me as a Israelite not caring what the Egyptians are doing in Egypt. But I won't get into that. We have the attention span of goldfish, but there's also there's this hazard, and I learned this in radio long time ago, 25 years ago. The more steps between the person, that's why they're trying to remove all. This goes back to our topic. This is perfect. That's why I try to remove all restrictions for voting. Because they realize that for every step that someone has to go through to finally vote, that a large percentage of people are going to drop off. It's just too much trouble. They just don't care enough. Hello, Frank. So it's the same thing with this. If there was something to do that we could do that would fix this, most people wouldn't do it because it would take 4 or 5 steps. If you don't want people to do something, then you throw roadblocks in the way where there's another step. So in website development, I would have people that were designing websites for me, and they would say, click here to find out about this. And then you would click on that, and it would go to another page with information on it, and it would say, are you interested? Click here. And they would go to another page with the individual product, and it was like, buy. And I would tell the people, why are there 4 steps that I got to go through to buy this thing? Why can't I buy it right now? I'm looking at it. If I want to go find out more, I can click on a second button, but the first button should be buy. And if I buy it, I don't want to go to another page that I got to do a bunch of stuff. I want to buy it right now. And that's just the way that we are. That's the way that people are. You don't want to go any extra steps, right? So all of this kind of comes together and shows us the depth of our problem. People have very short attention spans. They're not willing to do anything to better their own selves or to increase their freedom if it's going to create any discomfort for them. That's why my new merch, I'm going to have t-shirts and I'm going to have hoodies, and it's going to say embrace discomfort. That's going to be the slogan for the Bunker Nation. All right. If you guys have any questions or comments or anything you want to talk about, let me know. If not, then that's going to be it. Hope everybody's doing all right. Do go to the michaelbunker.com/fundraiser. There's a lot of different ways you could donate money to the show to help us keep going. You can do it right now with no steps in between. Down there at the bottom in the comment section down there on YouTube, there's a thing called Super Chat. Click on that. You can donate money immediately. It will show up right now, although the money doesn't come for a while. The second way you can do it is you go to facebook.com/off grid. That's Michael Bunker. That's me. Send me a friend request, and then you can, through the instant messenger, they let you send money and there's no fee either direction. It's like immediate and there's no fees at all. Any other way you donate, there's going to be a fee. Also, you can go to michaelbunker.com/fundraiser. I'll put it up there one more time. And and you can donate that way. All right. We need borders on the internet between Israel and Egypt. That's right. All right. I appreciate you guys. As always, God bless. I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you, to interact with you. If you're a future person, which means that you don't see a live thing right up here, then it means you're probably watching this in the future. The show's probably not live. It's probably already ended. However, you can still participate fully. You can just go down in the comment section down here, type a comment, and I'm begging you to do that. Just say, hey, I love the show. Hey, I hate the show. I hate your hat. I think your hair is a monstrosity. It's absolutely horrible. I think you should get a haircut. Why are you wearing a cravat? Something like that. And then, or if you have a real question or comment, something you want to talk about, just type it down in there in the comment section, and I read them all. I read everything. So I appreciate it. All right, y'all. As always, God bless. Lord willing, I'll see you again. If not tomorrow, maybe the next day, but I will see you when I see you. And until then, I love y'all. I hope you're all safe and happy, and I'll talk to you soon.